Look at that. Didn't even have to erase it. Now, would you guys like to take a guess at what kind of content this alleged pedo made on YouTube? Take a guess, take a guess. Yeah, it's Minecraft. On a more serious note, keep in mind that these are allegations, and the ones that we're talking about today have a bit of evidence that I'm going to be showing you guys and going over. But I want to also clarify that these allegations are coming from someone who was 13 at the time, and the content creator we're going over would have been 19. So it's pretty bad if it ends up being true. But before we jump in, if you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. It really helps out. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. But regardless of if you do either, thank you for watching. Now, these allegations are directed towards Zyph or Zyph. I'm pretty sure that's right. And this is someone who has been doing a bunch of Minecraft. And now these allegations are coming from this profile here being literally just under the name Zyph allegations. And they made this thread with a statement included from the alleged victim. Now, I had originally seen this story coming out of Reddit, which also includes in that Reddit post, there is someone who had worked with Dylan or Zyph. And that individual also makes a few points, so we're going to be going over that too. But let's jump into the alleged victim's statement here and then some of the evidence that they're bringing forth as well. Starting from the top, this is a statement from the victim of Zyph/Dylan/Zyph. We spoke to her after we initially posted our evidence, and she requested we remove the post so that we can post a more censored version to keep her identity private, along with her statement. If you saw the information which leaked her current @ or identity, we ask that you please keep it to yourself. This statement and following tweets should have all of the evidence you need to believe these allegations, so please do not try and contact her. In the following tweet to this will be photos that the victim has provided us to help prove her relationship with Dylan, them together, and him at her house with her cat. We have seen the victim's ID and can confirm she is currently 19 years old, making her 13 when the relationship began. Just to recap here, it looks like these people, either with or without the victim's, approval, posted some of the evidence, which included some of her private information, which is certainly not starting on the right foot, but it seems to be that it's cleaned up now. And then they are saying, at least on their side, that they've confirmed that she is 19 years old now. At the end of the day, it is just confirmation from the people that have written this. So that's not necessarily very far in terms of, confirming it for the people that are viewing this. Take that as you will, but we'll move on to the actual statement. Back in 2018, I was groomed and essayed by YouTuber Dylan/Zyph/Zyph at the age of 13-14 whilst he was 19-20. I am now 19. It started with me being a fan. After I did a lot of artwork for him and started doing paid work, we started talking. Eventually, in May of 2018, we started dating. I was a stupid kid. I was very troubled. I was being bullied in school, had nothing good going for me, and I had low self-esteem. I spent a lot of time online and got close to Dylan, but for the first month of our relationship, I lied about my age and told him I was 16. After our first real-life meetup at VidCon in 2018, only 1 month after our relationship began, I finally told him the truth, and he knew from that point on that I was only 13 years old. So again, based off what they're saying, this was still in 2018 as well. I pleaded with him not to break up with me, but my begging was not needed. He seemed to have absolutely no intent of breaking up with me, and this caused no problem for him at all. We eventually broke up in July of 2019, but not before we met and spent time together on 4 other occasions in person in which I was SA'd. During this time period, I attempted twice, resulting in 2 hospitalizations. I was in a very bad place, and I regret everything that happened. This should have never happened. I'd like to state that talking about this situation or even thinking about it puts me into a lot of emotional distress and makes me sick. This was a terrible time in my life, and I look back on it with disgust, anger, and sadness. This is why I'm keeping myself anonymous. If you know who I am and we used to be friends, feel free to reach out if you wish. For the rest, and you know who I am, I ask that no one else reaches out due to the stress and anxiety I get from receiving questions and DMs. I just want to move on from this and go back into living my normal life. I've been sitting with this in the back of my mind for almost 6 years, and it comes to haunt and torment me constantly. Currently at this point in my life, we have not talked since 2020, and I have to some extent erased a lot of these thoughts and memories from my head due to trauma. I can't even remember his last name anymore. I'm so proud of how much I've grown as a person, and I'm so happy where I am currently. To the people who may have been hurt or wronged due to the relationship I was in, I'm so sorry. I miss all of my old friendships dearly and wish some of them didn't end the way that they did. You all were just looking out for me, and I just didn't realize. I miss you all. Please reach out if you want to. These have been some of the most difficult days I've had in a long time, but finally getting this off my chest has been something I've been needing to do for years. I appreciate everyone's kindness and support. Like I said, after this is out, I just want to move on with my life, go to work again, live with my current partner who I love so much, and hang out with my cats. I'm planning on having a very nice holiday with my family. Dylan/Zyph does not deserve a platform. He is a dangerous predator who groomed and essayed me. I wish to not go into certain specifics because of how traumatic some of the situations were. The thought of them makes me physically sick, like I want to throw up. Thank you for reading this and hearing my side of the story. So if what they're saying ends up being true, this is a pretty serious case of this kind of thing going on, being that the alleged victim is claiming that, I mean, they were SA'd. That would indicate that something sexual had to have gone down. And on top of that, from what they're saying, they were clear about their age being 13, and that did not stop the relationship. And on top of that, they continued to meet after the fact. And Zyph didn't seem to have a problem with that, which is insane. At the time of recording this video, there is no response from Zyph that has come out outside of what we're going to see in some of the evidence, which is just outright denying the claims. And then I did also want to show you guys this. I reached out to the account that had posted this, letting them know I was reaching out to see if you could provide any more information, evidence, etc. for a video that I'll be doing to cover the allegations that have come out. Anything would be appreciated. They said, don't think there's anything left to be said. We've seen the victim's ID and she does not want this to be dragged out any longer whatsoever. I followed up with sounds good, just had one question myself. Is there any plan for bringing this evidence to the authorities, or has the case been open to your knowledge? Not making any assumptions, just purely curious. Again, I'll let you guys know. I'll leave a comment down below if there's an update to that, but at the time of recording this, they haven't responded again. And we're just gonna go through the evidence that's already out on this person's Twitter and pick through that. So here's that start of that post. Zyph, Minecraft YouTuber, was dating and essayed a 13-year-old fan when he was 19 to 20 years old. Here's a statement from the victim following some tweets showcasing further evidence of his actions. Photos provided by the victim shows them together, as well as Zyph inside of her house with their cat. These photos have not been seen publicly. Here is that gentleman next to what looks to be the alleged victim here, and then one with their cat and Zyph over there. And just for reference, this is the individual in question. This is what he looks like, just so you guys have an understanding. This was from 2 years ago here, so it would have been, a couple years after the photos that you're seeing here, but just making sure you guys have a reference. But continuing on, Zyph/Dylan was dating his fan thumbnail designer at the time and even live streamed with her. This is an unlisted stream on his channel called Epic High Pixel Stream with My Girlfriend. And here's that included. Followed up with, here you can see posts Zyph had made discussing his inappropriate relationship publicly. So here is a photo here back in 2019, 10-day trip summary, and assuming with their name included here. And this looks like Zyph saying to the victim here, this is a great way to use your platform to project positivity when dealing with a negative situation. I love you blank and don't want to see anything happen to you when it comes to this stuff. I'm proud of you. And then it also looks like they had something commissioned for each other. Happy Valentine's Day. And it includes the individual's name here. Also thanks to this person for the commission, and it's them two together. It looks like, I don't know what this is. I'm not going to act like I know what this is, but this was also in 2019. Even if this weren't to make sense, sending a happy Valentine's Day to a literal, 6-year younger 13-year-old is pretty fucking crazy. Following it up, the victim's bio now says she is 19. @Zyph is now 26. The relationship began in 2018. We have censored her for her privacy, but people who are around in the community at this time will know this is legit. We have seen her ID and can also confirm that she is 19 currently. So there you see 19 years old, and they are followed by Zyph. And you can see his date of birth being 1998. Here's a photo of Zyph and the victim with a group of other high-pixel Minecraft YouTubers. Did they not question this relationship? And then we can see here, that gal right there next to looks to be Zyph here. I personally don't think it's worth speculating or making the assumption that anyone in this photo knew what was going on or had a reason to ask. Like, they look similar in height as everyone else. It wasn't like they were, half the size of anyone else here. We don't see their face, so we can't really make a judgment call like that. So I don't think until anyone really speaks on it that it's worth taking a look into. But the photo is, providing more evidence that they were, around each other doing this stuff at that time. And then it looks like this was Zyph's actual response in his Discord. Crazy how he tries to deny it when there's proof publicly of them together during those dates. I'm just going to read it to you guys because it's really small text for you guys, I'm assuming. It was brought to my attention that there was a lot of hate and misinformation being spread about me recently from a few users on different platforms and servers. This information is not accurate and doesn't represent me, my actions, or relationships in the past, present, or future. It also doesn't describe my character or morals as a person and is presented about me in a way that is meant to encourage others to harass me and my community. I personally tend to avoid drama as I create content and this community to be a safe place for anyone from any background to be a part of if they would like to. Any previous content that has been removed on any social platform was requested to be removed by people I was collaborating with and has always been the case with my channel. Thanks for reading, and remember to not jump to conclusions about topics, especially when the people involved have nothing to do with the topic being brought up or discussed. And that looks like a fedora tipping. Is that a fedora tip? I don't know this person. I didn't know them, prior to this information coming out. So I'm not going to I can't really speak on their character. But the last thing that I did want to talk about is someone who does. So this was a reply on the original post that was done of Minecraft YouTuber on the YouTube drama talking about this. It comes from Ghost Lane. Hello, I'm someone who is involved in this community for many years and was a Twitch mod for him. This was a guy I met in person, made a lot of fan art for, as well as branding for one of his YouTube channels. I also met many friends through his community or collaborations with other creators. This was a guy I naively thought would never have been a groomer. I have seen my fair share of fucked up shit being close to the Minecraft community, but this really hits close to home. I was aware of the fact he had dated this person before. She was his thumbnail artist for a few years, but I thought she was 16, 17 while he was 19, 20 during their relationship. While 16 and 19 is still questionable, it's not out of the realm of what a high school relationship could be, which is why I and many others likely didn't see too much into it. The 13-year-old had lied publicly about her age and to Zyph initially, but she informed me after I was able to get in contact with her that she was in fact 13 and had confessed that to Zyph a month into them dating. Instead of breaking things off like he should have, they were together from about April of 2018 to about October of 2019. He continued to go along with this despite knowing she was 13. It's even worse when you know she is autistic and that they even met in person. He took advantage of a neurodivergent child, and no one that could have called him out at the time knew, or they chose not to speak up. The original Twitter post was taken down after Zyph made a statement in his Discord server denying the claim, passing it off as just drama. They corrected that, saying that it was actually at the victim's request so that they can have the formal statement put out and cleaned up the evidence, so it didn't, include more private information. So personally for me, a lot of this kind of just seems a bit inconclusive. There is evidence showing him photographed next to someone who is, the alleged victim. That's kind of just more of let's look at this illegally. He hasn't made more of a statement outside of just outwardly denying the accusations, which also is not a crazy, response to this kind of thing. That isn't to say that I don't believe the individual, but in terms of, this being ample evidence to prove the claims, I don't agree with whoever, created the Twitter account that is sufficient. There isn't any proof of the essay, and again, we're not the law. We don't need to be seeing that kind of evidence. But if you're talking about, convincing the masses or convincing public perception, this is not just going to do that alone. Now, the evidence that was provided is useful in understanding that the person that they keep, blocking the face out of the victim was close with the individual. And from what they're saying, she was 13 at the time. We have to just rely on what they were saying. But I think the piece of evidence that seems to do the most in terms of corroborating this story for it to be, something that's more believable has to do with that Reddit post. Having this individual corroborate the story and explaining about how they were all told that she was 16, 17 while he was 19, 20 when that wasn't the case. For me, that adds a bit more credibility or, consistency to the story that's being told. When you have another individual that is seemingly corroborating that, yes, these kinds of events happened, and based off what they're saying, they were confirming that they got in contact with her and that she was in fact 13. And they're saying she was able to inform that individual after they got in contact. Based off what they're saying, yes, the alleged victim lied about, publicly about their age, but they, immediately kowtowed, told Zyph their actual age. And that also seems that they are confirming that they were able to, number one, get in contact with her, but then again, confirm the same story that is being told on the Twitter thread. I'm going to leave it up to you guys. I'm going to leave a link to the Twitter thread in the description below if you guys want to take a look at it. And I'd like to see your guys' thoughts. And again, if we get more information or Zyph, decides to respond to these allegations in a different manner outside of what they've already done, I'll be sure to make a second video and go over it with you guys. But that's it for today. See you guys later. Adios. Peace. Goodbye.